Լիբանանի օրեն կդեսնեմ, որ չգա։ Սել չեմ ուզեր, որ չգա, որովհետև դարոնակ է, որ երկու մեծ կորձերու վրա ենք, թե պահպանել հայրենիքը և թե կփորձենք պահպանել սփյուռքը, որը, այսինքն, ատկանալ թյուրին հարցը չէ բոլորս կտեսնենք, որքան դժվար է սփյուռքի մեջ թիմանալ,
գոյատևել։
Նախ նյութապես և ապահովվածը լալ և երկրորդ ունենալ քիչ ավելին, որպեսզի կարենանք օգնել անոնք, որոնք իսկապես պետք ունին։ Հայերը կարծեմ միշտ փորձած է շատ լավ ապրել։
Եվ հաջողած են։
Եվ
հաջողած են։
Առաջին գործը, որ մեկ դե որ հաստատվին, անմիջապես կփորձեն իրենց նյութականը ապահովել, լավ ապրել, որը քովելի է, բայց միշտ ավելի քովելի է, երբ քեզ բաժին կհանես ուրիշին։ Ինչպես որ ասենք այս ազգայինները ուրեմն դարիներով հոգացած են եւ այլն։
Բայց այս բարակային բարեգործական այն կազմակերպությունն է, որ բացի հարուստները, բարեկեցիկ կյանք ունեցողները, նաև մտավորականների մի մեծ շարք կար, որ մասն էին բարեգործականի եւ շատ պարս աղքատ ռամիկ ժողովուրդ եւս ամեն մեկի իր ձևով իրենց օգնությունը բերեցին եւ իրար ձեռքի տալով կարողացան բարեգործական կազմակերպությունը պահել մինչև այսօր 100 քանի տարի 107 տարի ուրեմն միայն քանի որ առաջին տպավորությունը երբ որ բարեգործական բառը լսվի առաջին տպավորությունը այն է որ շատ դրամ ունեցող մեկերը պետք է լինեն եւ մենակ նյութականն է օգնությունը բայց նյութականից այն կողմ շատ կան մտքերի կարիք
օրինակի համար օրինակ մտալու համար ուրեմն 1931-ին 33 հայկական բարեգործական ընդհանուր միության Ժնևի Գրասենյակի վարիչը Լևոն Փաշալյանն էր, որ հայտնի քրաքետ եւ քրող էր եւ ուրեմն անոր նախաձեռնությամբ էր, որ ուրեմն ինքը գրծավ կորզակցիլ Նանսենի հետ եւ ուրեմն այդքան հայեր, որոնք ոմեկ ինքնան թուղթ եւ այլն չունեին, անոնք գրծին Նանսենյանը լալ եւ այդ ծևով դեղափոխվել հոսկե եւ հոն Մեկ գուզեմ նաև երկու վարգյան խոսիլ Զարեհնուբար Փաշային է մասին 1932-ին 1940 ուրեմն 1939-ին Ցորենի հանքանակության անվան տակ ուրեմն 6000 հայ դարակիրներ փերվեցան եւ թրվեցան անջարի մեջ ուրեմն լիբանանի մեջ բոլորս լսած ենք անջար քյուղաքաղաքը գար ասիկա Զարեհնուբարին գբարդինք որով այդ հողերը գրծավ առնել լիբանանի գարավարութենեն եւ 1939-ին հոն շնվեցան փոքր բնակարաններ եւ այդ 6000 ուրեմն դարակիրները եկան եւ հոն հաստատվեցան ասիկա շատ քիչ ուրեմն անցիկ գիտեն որ ուրեմն Զարեհնուբար բեյն էր որ այս հարցը լուծեց եւ անշուշտ գուզեմ վերջացնել սերով որ իսկ նույն տարին 1939-ին նորեն Զարեհնուբարի նախաձեռնությամբ հիմնվեցավ Թարուի Հակոբյան վարժարանը հայկական բարեգործական ընդհանուր միության հովանին տակ որ մեզ շատ ուրախ եմ որ ես անոնց շրջանավարտներն եմ եւ մենք ուրեմն Լիբանան մեջ ունեինք Զարեհնուբար գետրոն ագումբը ուր երդասարտներս կհավաքվեինք եւ մեր ինքնությունը կփորձեինք այդ ձևով բահել պահպանել
Մեր ժամանակը այսօր սպառվեց մի քանի գովազդներից հետո անմիջապես մի քանի գովազդներից հետո կդիտենք այն տեսաերիզը որը նվիրված է Ալեք Մանուկյանին
Ուրեմն մեր ուրեմն նշանավոր ուրեմն Բողոս Նոբարեն իդ ուրեմն Ալեք Մանուկյան
որը անվանվեց Ցկյանս նախագահ։
Joining the AGBU Scouts program taught me how to be responsible, a good leader, and a team player.
I didn't realize it at first, but over time, I learned discipline and how to take care of myself, not just on camping trips, but in every aspect of my life.
Becoming a scout teaches you to roll up your sleeves and get involved not only in camping and hiking. We make it our goal to adopt community projects throughout the year, giving back not only to our Armenian community but to our local areas as well. Being an active citizen makes us a good citizen.
We all practice teamwork, whether we're monk chiefs or while working on an activity with young scouts. Working together as a team and building a community unit is one of the cornerstones of our movement.
I began to feel more confident after earning my first badge and following through on our responsibilities.
Now, I believe I can be a leader, not just as an AGBU scout, but in my future professional life also.
The best part about being a leader within the AGBU is watching my Boy Scouts evolve into mature, responsible young leaders.
Through scouting, I had the opportunity to join the marching band when I was 12 years old. When I first started, I didn't have a good knowledge for music, but now that I've been in it, I've played in many ceremonies and parades.
I care about the environment. One of the things I love most about being an AGBU Cub is the fact that we learn how to be more conscious about our surroundings and how important conservation and awareness is for the future of our planet.
AGBU Scouts is an invaluable program for our Armenian youth today because it teaches them about our identity and our culture among many other things. I hope that with what we do, we inspire these kids to grow and become leaders and give back to our community.
A gift is something that you give from your heart. Whatever it's got inside, you can't buy with money. You have to feel it.
How do you honor a legend? How do you celebrate his life? How do you say thank you? People all over the world have paid tribute to him, and now it is our turn. Now he is home. Our message is a simple one, spoken simply, quietly, and in one voice. The voice of our friend, our father, our brother, our benefactor, our teacher and our beloved president of the Armenian General Benevolent Union, Alec Manoogian.
I learned from my mother, really, to help others when I was a little kid. When I was a little kid again. Because there were some families in the city that they were not well-to-do, and they needed help sometimes. And we helped them. The church has preserved the Armenian nation all these years. If it wasn't for our church, we would have been lost a long time ago. Because church was our home. We loved it. We were Christians. We loved it because church ran all the schools. Our children went to church schools. That's where they learned their language, their history, and everything else. In church, in the ceremony, we have two candle bearers, two boys that go with the priest, wherever he goes and all that. See. They were gonna choose another candle bearer because the one was grown up and was going to go into the choir. They were going to elect somebody else. And I was very anxious to be elected. There were 3 candidates. And my father was treasurer of the church. He was always been a treasurer in the church. I asked my father, I said, Dad, I said, they're going to elect a candle bearer. Would you help me? Will you help me? He says, no. You're on your own. You have to fight for your right. So fortunately, I was elected candle bearer.
But despite the whole family's commitment to their community and their church, life was still difficult for the Manugians and other Armenians living in the port city of Smyrna, Turkey. For Alec's father, Takvor, his mother, Takuhi, and Alec's younger sisters, Aravni and Margaret, and brother Charles, life in Smyrna was unsettling, to say the least.
Turkey had turmoil with their king, and youngsters came into power. And we don't know what's going to happen to Armenians. Because in Turkey, Armenians were massacred from time to time. From time to time.
Finally, young Alec, after laboring as a student and an apprentice for most of his youth, decided that only by coming to America could he fulfill his dreams.
My boat was leaving 17 days, and I went back home. Back home? How am I going to tell my parents? 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, I had 17 days. The 4th day, my mother grabbed me. He says, what's the matter with you? Are you sick? I was getting sick. I said, Mother, I'm going to America. She shook up, started crying. Finally, she said, I won't stand on your way. They were worried too, but we never talked about it, see. My father came home, I told him about it. He said, son, you go ahead if you want to go.
In 1920, Alec Manoogian came to America, settling for a while in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Alec worked in a confectionery store and a factory where his job was to shine spoons. The bright young immigrant could speak 5 languages. Unfortunately, English was not one of them. But while life was a struggle for Alec in the United States, his family was having an even more difficult time in the old country. Just 2 years after he left Smyrna, Alec's family was forced to flee the latest wave of Turkish persecution. Alec's father was arrested, his family was homeless, and his city was in flames.
My people lost everything. They had to leave Turkey. Fortunately, they were able to come to Greece with nothing. Just imagine, with nothing.
Alec was desperate to save enough money for his family to emigrate, but he knew this would never happen in Bridgeport. In 1924, Alec Manoogian moved to Detroit, where he knew he could earn more money, and even more importantly, be closer to Windsor and the Canadian border when it came time to bring his family over. In Detroit, Alec tried to support himself by working at several small shops and factories, but it still wasn't easy. Prospective employers would ask the young immigrant if he knew how to work a certain kind of drill press or a lathe. And Alec, in his best English, would say, of course he could, when of course he couldn't. In 1929, Alec and two partners started their own company, Masco Screw Products. But these were the Depression years, and the streets of Detroit were not yet paved with gold for Alec Manoogian, at least not right away.
We couldn't make a living, hardly make a living. Things were bad. I had some bills to pay. I couldn't pay them. You know, I couldn't pay him, so I didn't know what to do. Then our scrap man walks in. We make scraps, we sell it to a scrap picker. He was a Jewish gentleman, nice old man. He says, what's wrong? He says, are you sick or something? I said, no, but I said, I'm in trouble. What kind of trouble? He says. Well, he says, I got bills to pay and I can't pay it. I need money. He says, how much money do you need? Well, I said, at least I gotta have $1,000 at least. Right now, $1,000, you know, it's a lot of money in 1930 when the banks were closed, all that, see. If we had money in the bank closed. I got another story about that. He said, don't worry. So he left. A couple hours later, he walks in with an envelope. He says, here's $1,500 for you. I shook up. He says, I know you're going to make good. That's the way he put it. I know you're going to make good.
In 1930, Alex Manoogian found another partner. Marie Tutjian was a beautiful young woman, a musician and a scarf painter from New York, but as Alec and Marie describe it, theirs was not exactly a romance that blossomed overnight.
I knew an old gentleman. I was in business. And I knew an old gentleman here in the city, intellectual man. He was about 70. Came to me one day. He says, talking, he says, I met a nice girl. Oh, he says, start bragging about it. I said, what's the matter with you? Going to get married again? He was single, see? He says, no, he says, it's for you.
I don't remember the details, but we were in the car, sitting in the car together. And of course, we said it looked like as if we were going to match. But he said, you know, I can't get married for a year. Did he tell you that?
My business is not good. I can't afford it, see. I can't afford it. My parents in Greece, you know, I have to support them and all that.
So we waited 1 year. And sure enough, at the end of that 1 year exactly, he came over and he said, it's all over, let's get married.
Finally, the struggling but talented young businessman saved enough money for his parents to come to America to join him and his sister Margaret. And a few years later, Alec was able to bring the rest of his family, Aravni, Charles, and his younger brother George, who was born in Greece. In 1936, Masco went public, the first Armenian company ever to be listed on the stock exchange. At last, life started to improve for the Manoogians of Detroit, which by now included two new additions to the family, Louise and Richard. Meanwhile,